Barnacles are exclusively marine arthropods. Many species live in shallow and tidal waters. Some 2,000 species have been described. Adults are sessile. Most are suspension feeders with hard calcareous shells, but some are specialized parasites of animals, with reduced bodies. Barnacles have existed since at least the mid-Carboniferous. Pelagic gooseneck barnacles are found, often in large numbers, attached by their flexible stalks to floating timber, the hulls of ships, piers, seaweed and various sorts of flotsam. It is a hermaphrodite and starts to breed when it is about over 2 centimeters long. Fertilization is internal and the eggs are brooded inside the mantle for a week before emerging as free-swimming nauplius larvae. After further development, drifting as part of the plankton, these settle onto floating objects. Most barnacles are filter feeders. From within their shell, they repeatedly reach into the water column with their cirri. These feathery appendages beat rhythmically to draw plankton and detritus into the shell for consumption. Nehecaris is a crustacean that lived approximately 400 million years ago with 2 shells covering the front of its body. It is covered and has 2 long spines at the tip of its tail. Nehecaris ranges in shape from long and slender to short and stout, the carapace from deep and rounded to long and narrow. Carapace ornament consists either of thin ridges parallel to the ventral border or inclined rows of irregular lines or cusps, but these characters cannot be consistently correlated with other variables to permit definition of separate species. The carapace is fused to the head, and possibly to the anterior end to the thorax in the area in front of the median dorsal plate. A postmandibular pyritized band may represent the carapace adductor muscle, which inserts on the mesolateral carinae. Dalella may reach a length of 8 mm from the base of the rostrum to the end of the abdomen. Much of the animal is covered by a large, hinged carapace. It can be distinguished from other animals in the same family by the presence of a row of denticles on the eye stalks, which it is believed are used to scrape surfaces for food. Leptostracans have gills on their thoracic limbs, but also breathe through a respiratory membrane on the inside of the carapace. The eggs hatch as a post-larval which lacks a fully developed carapace, but otherwise resembles the adult. The class of crustaceans called stomatopods has the most complex visual receptors in the animal kingdom. Many species are thought to be able to express up to 16 different visual pigments. In addition, stomatopods have a tripartite cornea which contains upper and lower halves, separated by a middle band made up of ommatidia. When searching for prey, each eye moves independently from the other. However, when a prey enters the visual field of one of the eyes, they lock into place focused on the prey. Zebra mantis shrimp display social monogamy with maternal egg care, meaning the females are the ones taking care of the eggs. Social monogamy is usually attributed to the large and costly effort to construct burrows of these species. These burrows are used for protection, and as a place to hide and wait for prey. In addition, there is a large risk associated with finding mates. By hiding in sandy burrows, they strike soft-bodied evasive prey that swim by such as small fish and malacostricans. In order to create high attack speeds, they have a spring and latch structure at the base of their raptorial appendages that allows them to create a spring-loaded strike. The dactyl club is the most electron-dense region of the stomatopod exoskeleton. From a transverse cross-section, the club can be divided into 3 different regions: the impact region, the periodic region and the striated region. The mechanical properties of each region has a correlation to the degree of mineralization that is present. The impact region has shown to be mainly composed of hydroxyapatite, with a higher degree of crystallinity compared to that found in bovine bone. peacock mantis shrimp is a burrower, constructing U-shaped holes in the loose substrate near the bases of coral reefs in water. It is a smasher, with club-shaped raptorial appendages. An agile and active intertidal and sub-intertidal predator, it prefers gastropods, crustaceans, and bivalves, and will repeatedly deliver blunt force to the exoskeleton of its prey until it can gain access to the underlying soft tissue for consumption. It is reported to have a punch of over 80 km per hour, the fastest recorded punch of any living animal. Their ability to see circularly polarized light has led to studies to determine if the mechanisms by which their eyes operate can be replicated for use in reading compact discs and similar optical storage devices. In addition to color vision, they have the ability to detect and analyze polarized light, which is light that vibrates in a specific direction. This unique capability helps them navigate and communicate in their underwater environment. They have an incredibly high flicker fusion frequency, which means they can detect rapid changes in light intensity with exceptional speed and accuracy. To protect their highly sensitive eyes from damage during hunting or fighting, mantis shrimps have evolved a remarkable mechanism. They can retract their eyes into special sockets and close protective covers called eyelids to shield their eyes from harm. Mountain shrimp is often referred to as a living fossil due to its ancient lineage and resemblance to prehistoric crustaceans. It is considered a relic species that has changed very little over millions of years. It is typically found in cool, freshwater environments, particularly in caves, sinkholes, and underground streams in Tasmania. It is adapted to low-light conditions and is often encountered in dark, subterranean habitats. Its restricted distribution makes it a unique and important component of Tasmania's freshwater ecosystems. Its life cycle typically includes an egg stage, followed by several larval stages and finally adulthood. Females lay eggs in freshwater habitats, and the juveniles undergo metamorphosis as they develop into adults. Skeleton shrimps are easily recognizable from other amphipods because of their slender elongated bodies. They are exclusively marine and are found in oceans worldwide. A few species are found in the ocean depths, but most prefer low intertidal zones and subtidal waters among eelgrass, hydroids, and bryozoans. They are typically seen attached to substrate by their grasping appendages called the periopods. They are omnivorous, feeding on detritus, protozoans, and smaller crustaceans. Some species are filter feeders, using their antennae to filter food from the water or scrape it off the substrate. Most species are predators that sit and wait like a praying mantis, with their gnathopods ready to snatch any smaller invertebrates which come along. They accentuate their adaptive form and coloration by assuming an angular pose, resembling that of the fronds among which they live. They remain motionless for long periods of time while waiting to ambush their prey, often protozoa or small worms. The beryl shrimp exhibits a unique reproductive strategy where the female captures and hollows out the body of a gelatinous tunicate, such as a salp or pyrosome, to create a barrel-shaped home for her eggs. She then places her eggs inside this barrel and attaches it to her abdomen, where she carries and protects them until they hatch. It is bioluminescent, meaning it can produce its own light. This bioluminescence is thought to serve various purposes, including communication, camouflage, and attracting prey or mates in the dark depths of the ocean. It is found in the deep waters of oceans worldwide, typically at depths ranging from a few hundred meters to several thousand meters. It is often associated with the mesopelagic zone, also known as the twilight zone, where little light penetrates from the surface. Despite its small size, it is an active predator in its deep-sea habitat. It feeds on a variety of planktonic organisms, including small crustaceans, larvae, and gelatinous zooplankton. Bloody red missid is considered an invasive species in several regions, mostly in the Great Lakes of North America. It was first discovered in the Great Lakes in the early 2000s and has since spread to various inland waterways, impacting native ecosystems and food webs. It typically inhabits freshwater and brackish water environments. It is known to prefer areas with rocky substrates and vegetation, where it can find shelter and feed on planktonic organisms. It is a predatory species, feeding primarily on zooplankton, small crustaceans and insect larvae. Its feeding behavior can have significant impacts on native zooplankton populations and alter nutrient cycling in freshwater ecosystems. It competes with native species for food and habitat, preys on native zooplankton, and may serve as a vector for transmitting diseases to native organisms. The opossum shrimp is an opportunistic feeder with both predatorial and filter feeding habits. When zooplankton are abundant, they serve as the primary food source. When scarce, they will feed on phytoplankton, suspended organic detritus, or from the surface of benthic organic deposits. They are also an important source of food for freshwater fish including brook trout, lake trout, burbot, and coregonids. As such, they are a keystone species. A current active area of research is the effect of missid reintroduction on lake food webs after acidification. Hirondelia gigas is typically found in the deep waters of the world's oceans, particularly in abyssal plains and trenches. It is well adapted to extreme conditions such as high pressure, low temperatures, and limited food availability in these deep-sea environments. As its name suggests, it exhibits gigantism compared to other species in the genus Hirondelia. It is one of the largest species of amphipods, with adults reaching lengths of several centimeters. It is a scavenger, feeding on organic detritus and decaying matter that sinks to the seafloor. It plays an important role in nutrient cycling and decomposition processes in deep-sea ecosystems by breaking down organic material and recycling nutrients. It has a streamlined body shape, large antennae for sensing its surroundings, and well-developed appendages for locomotion and feeding. Giant isopod is one of the largest isopods in the world, with adults reaching lengths of up to 50 centimeters and weights exceeding 1 kilogram. Its large size is an example of abyssal gigantism, a phenomenon where organisms living in deep-sea environments grow to larger sizes than their shallow-water relatives. It inhabits the abyssal depths of the ocean, typically found at depths ranging from 200 to 2,000 meters. It is often found on the muddy or sandy bottoms of the continental slope and abyssal plains. It is a scavenger, feeding primarily on carrion, dead fish, squid, and other organic material that sinks to the seafloor. Its large size and powerful jaws allow it to crush and consume a wide variety of prey items. Its slow metabolism and ability to withstand high pressure and low oxygen levels enable it to survive in the harsh conditions of the deep ocean. Despite its large size, giant isopod is preyed upon by deep-sea predators. Its tough exoskeleton provides some protection against predators, but it is not immune to predation. Woodlice evolved from marine isopods which are presumed to have colonized land in the Carboniferous, though the oldest known fossils are from the Cretaceous period. They have a basic morphology of a segmented, dorsoventrally flattened body with 7 pairs of jointed legs, specialized appendages for respiration. Like other paracarids, females carry fertilized eggs in their marsupium, through which they provide developing embryos with water, oxygen and nutrients. The immature young hatch as manki and receive further maternal care in some species. Juveniles then go through a series of molts before reaching maturity. Woodlice are widely studied in the contexts of evolutionary biology, behavioral ecology and nutrient cycling. They are popular as terrarium pets because of their varied color and texture forms, conglobating ability and ease of care. Woodlice are sensitive to agricultural pesticides, but can tolerate some toxic heavy metals, which they accumulate in the hepatopancreas. Thus, they can be used as bioindicators of heavy metal pollution. Antarctic krill is one of the most abundant animal species on the planet, with estimated total biomass exceeding that of humans. They form vast swarms that can contain millions of individuals and extend for kilometers across the ocean's surface. They play a crucial role in the Southern Ocean ecosystem as a keystone species. They are a primary food source for a wide range of marine predators. The health and abundance of these predators depend heavily on the availability of Antarctic krill. They are filter feeders, using specialized appendages called thoracic limbs to filter small phytoplankton and other organic particles from the water column. They are capable of consuming large quantities of food and can form dense aggregations near the ocean's surface during feeding. They are small, shrimp-like crustaceans, typically measuring 6 to 15 millimeters in length. Their populations are sensitive to changes in environmental conditions, including sea ice extent, ocean temperature, and ocean acidity. Monitoring changes in krill abundance and distribution can provide valuable insights into the impacts of climate change on marine ecosystems in the Southern Ocean. While Dendrobranchiata and Caridea belong to different suborders of Decapoda, they are very similar in appearance, and in many contexts such as commercial farming and fisheries, they are both often referred to as shrimp and prawn interchangeably. In the United Kingdom, the word prawn is more common on menus than shrimp, while the opposite is the case in North America. The dendrobranchiate shrimp's unique dendritic gills enable efficient gas exchange in their aquatic environment. Caridean shrimp possess simple filamentous gills, allowing them to extract oxygen from the water with ease. Dendrobranchiate shrimp exhibit a distinct pleon structure, with 6 segments and a slender telson at the end. Caridean shrimp often have a more flexible abdomen with 7 segments, providing them with increased maneuverability. The most conspicuous appendages arising from the head are the antennae. The first pair are biramous and are relatively small. The second pair can be 2 to 3 times the length of the body and are always uniramous. The mouthparts comprise pairs of mandibles, maxillules and maxilli, arising from the head, and 3 pairs of maxillipeds, arising from the thorax. The carapace grows from the thorax to cover the cephalothorax, and extends forwards between the eyes into a rostrum. The thoracic appendages carry gills, which are protected beneath the carapace. The gills are typically branched, and so resemble trees, lending the group its scientific name. Prawns are opportunistic omnivores, and their diet can include a range of food items from fine particles to large organisms. These may include fish, chaetognaths, krill, copepods, radiolarians, phytoplankton, nematocysts, ostracods and detritus. They eat less around the time of ecdysis, probably because of the softness of the mouthparts, and must eat more than usual to compensate, once ecdysis is complete. Prawns are an attractive food for predators, with a higher energy content than most other invertebrates. The larvae are prey to comb jellies, jellyfish, chaetognaths, fish and other crustaceans, and only a tiny proportion survive. Most of the musculature of a prawn is used for bending the pleon, and almost all the space in the pleon is filled by muscle. More than 17 muscles operate each of the pleopods, and a further 16 power the tail fan in the rapid backward movement of the caridoid escape reaction. These muscles, collectively, are the meat for which prawns are commercially fished and farmed. The nervous system of prawns comprises a dorsal brain, and a ventral nerve cord, connected by 2 commissures around the esophagus. The chief sensory inputs are visual input from the eyes, chemoreceptors on the antennae and in the mouth, and mechanoreceptors on the antennae and elsewhere. Atlantic white shrimp lives in estuaries and from the littoral zone to water with a depth of 30 meters in the Atlantic. It is an omnivore. In Lake Pontchartrain, it feeds chiefly on the seagrass and detritus. Many aquatic animals feed on them, including fish and turtles. Spawning in these shrimps occurs while the water is warm, between the increase in water temperatures in the spring and the sudden decline in temperature in the fall. It generally occurs within 9 kilometers of the shoreline, in water less than 9 meters deep in the Atlantic. Males attach a spermatophore to the females, which is then used to fertilize the eggs as they are released. Each female releases 500,000 to 1 million purplish eggs, which sink to the bottom of the water column. Speckled shrimp exhibits sexual dimorphism, with females typically larger and broader than males. They reproduce via internal fertilization, with females carrying fertilized eggs beneath their abdomen until they hatch into larvae. Larvae are released into the water column, where they undergo several molts before settling to the seafloor as juveniles. It is commercially important in many countries throughout its range, where it is harvested for human consumption. It is often caught using trawl nets or other fishing gear and is marketed fresh, frozen or processed into value-added products such as shrimp paste or shrimp sauce. The commercial fishing supports livelihoods for many coastal communities and contributes significantly to the economy of countries where it is harvested. However, overfishing and habitat degradation pose threats to wild populations, highlighting the need for sustainable management practices. Eastern king prawn can range from pale blue to deep turquoise. This striking coloration provides camouflage and helps the shrimp blend in with its surroundings in coastal waters. Adults typically measure between 12 to 18 centimeters in length, making them one of the larger species of painted shrimp. They are valued for their relatively large size and meaty tail, which is prized for its flavor and texture. They prefer areas with soft sediment substrates and abundant vegetation, where they can find food, shelter, and breeding grounds. It is an omnivorous scavenger, feeding on a variety of organic matter. They use their specialized mouthparts to scrape and filter food particles from the substrate. The jackknife shrimp is typically found in deep-sea environments, inhabiting the abyssal plains and slopes of the ocean floor. It is known to occur at depths ranging from several hundred to several thousand meters. It has a characteristic body shape typical of amphipods, with a flattened, elongated body and numerous pairs of appendages. It is relatively small in size, typically measuring a few centimeters in length. It is often pale or translucent in color, allowing it to blend in with its deep-sea surroundings. Its coloration may vary depending on factors such as habitat, depth, and environmental conditions. It is one of many species of deep-sea amphipods that inhabit the world's oceans, contributing to the biodiversity of these remote and often poorly explored environments. Brown rock shrimp's growth and development depends on factors such as water temperature and salinity. They can grow up to 15 centimeters in length, but most brown rock shrimp found in shallow waters are less than 5 centimeters long. They are highly productive and have a short lifespan, between 20 and 22 months. Females are able to reproduce when they reach at least 3 centimeters in length. Brown rock shrimp spawn year-round in offshore waters, with peaks between November and January. Individual females can spawn 3 or more times in one season. Males and females mate, and the eggs are fertilized when the female simultaneously releases egg and sperm. Eggs hatch within 24 hours. Pacific cleaner shrimp do not live in large groups, more often in pairs, and while omnivorous, it is believed they derive much of their nutrition from cleaning parasites and dead tissue from fish. Their mating behavior has been observed in captivity where it involves little ritual. A pair of fully mature hermaphroditic shrimp will alternate molting timing. Mating occurs shortly following a molt when one shrimp acting as the male will follow the other acting as the female, which will brood the fertilized eggs. when the next shrimp molts the rolls, and therefore a parent sex, will reverse. It has a symbiotic relationship with client fish in which both organisms benefit. The shrimp gain a meal from eating parasites living on large fish, and the clients benefit from the removal of parasites. Cleaning organisms including shrimp and fish can congregate in one location on a reef in what is called a cleaning station, which fish will visit when required. Cleaning shrimp perform a rocking dance from side to signal their services when fish approach. These shrimp start out as a male, but after a few molts will become a hermaphrodite, allowing them to function as both male and female in interactions with another shrimp. These shrimps have no pure female form. This form of sexual maturation is scientifically described as protandric simultaneous hermaphroditism and is unique to Lismata shrimp amongst other decapod crustaceans. In one spawning, adult shrimp will lay between 200 to 500 eggs, which are initially attached to the pleopods and are greenish in color. The eggs swell and lighten in color before hatching, and a few will turn silver on the day of hatching. The eggs hatch around dusk, releasing 3 to 4 mm long larvae into the free-floating pelagic zone. Snapping shrimp is known for its mutualistic relationship with certain species of gobies, particularly those belonging to the genus Elacatinus. The shrimp excavates and maintains a burrow, which serves as a shelter for both the shrimp and the goby. In return, the goby provides protection and warns the shrimp of potential predators. The shrimp is a proficient burrower, using its enlarged claw to excavate and maintain a burrow in the substrate of coral reefs. The snapping sound produced by the rapid closure of its claw can stun or deter predators and prey. Like other pistol shrimp species, it possesses an asymmetrical pair of claws, with one claw significantly larger than the other. The enlarged claw contains a specialized structure called a pistil that is used to generate a high-velocity water jet, capable of stunning prey and producing a loud snapping sound. Snapping shrimp is a carnivorous species, feeding on small invertebrates, planktonic organisms and detritus. It uses its snapping claw to capture prey and defend its territory from intruders. It plays a role in coral reef ecosystems as both a predator and a prey species. Its burrowing behavior can influence sediment dynamics and nutrient cycling, while its symbiotic relationship with gobies contributes to the biodiversity and stability of reef communities. The water jet produced by pistil shrimps can reach speeds of up to 100 km per hour. This makes it one of the fastest movements in the animal kingdom relative to its size. The water jet created by the pistil shrimp's claw is accompanied by a sudden drop in pressure and a burst of heat, reaching temperatures as high as 4,700 degrees Celsius. This extreme pressure and heat can stun or kill prey instantly. The rapid movement of the claw creates a cavitation bubble in the surrounding water, which is essentially a vacuum bubble filled with vapor. When the bubble collapses, it produces a shock wave and a characteristic snapping sound, hence the name pistil shrimp. The shrimp use their powerful jets to stun or kill prey, including small fish, crustaceans, and mollusks. The shock wave produced by the collapsing cavitation bubble is capable of stunning or immobilizing prey, making it easier for the shrimp to capture and consume. In addition to hunting, pistil shrimps also use their water jets for communication. They produce distinct snapping sounds by rapidly closing their claw, which can serve as territorial signals, warning calls, or mating displays. Glass shrimp is a relatively small species of shrimp, with adults typically reaching lengths of 3 to 5 centimeters. Juveniles may be smaller in size, while larger individuals are often females carrying eggs. Its coloration can vary depending on environmental factors and habitat conditions. It is generally translucent or light brown, allowing it to blend in with its surroundings and evade predators. It is an omnivorous species, feeding on a variety of organic matter, including algae, detritus, small invertebrates, and plant material. It uses its specialized mouthparts to scrape and filter food particles from the substrate and vegetation. It plays a vital role in freshwater ecosystems as both a predator and a prey species. It helps control populations of small invertebrates and algae, contributing to ecosystem balance and water quality. Trophic DNA metabarcoding studies show that deepwater prawn plays a key role in Arctic food webs, by feeding on a diverse array of prey, including gelatinous zooplankton and chaetognaths. High diversity of fish DNA can also be detected in their stomachs, probably as a result of their role as generalized scavengers. This has led some authors to propose the prawn as an efficient natural sampler for assessing molecular fish diversity in Arctic marine ecosystems. The shrimp are hermaphroditic, specifically protandrous hermaphrodites. They are born as male, but after approximately 2.5 years, their testes turn to ovaries and they complete their lives as females. It is an important food resource, and has been widely fished since the beginning of the century in Norway, and later in other countries following Johan Hjort's practical discoveries of how to locate them. In Canada, these shrimps are sold peeled, cooked and frozen in bags in supermarkets, and are consumed as appetizers. Hydrothermal vent shrimps inhabit some of the most extreme environments on Earth, where temperatures can exceed 400 degrees Celsius and pressures can be hundreds of times greater than at the surface. Despite these harsh conditions, vent shrimps have evolved specialized adaptations to survive in these environments. They have remarkable thermal tolerance, enabling them to withstand temperatures that would be lethal to most other organisms. They are adapted to live in close proximity to hydrothermal vents, where hot fluids rich in minerals and chemicals are released into the surrounding seawater. Unlike most organisms, which rely on photosynthesis as the primary source of energy, vent shrimps and other deep-sea vent animals rely on chemosynthesis. Bacteria living within the vent shrimp's gills or digestive system convert chemicals such as hydrogen sulfide into organic compounds, providing the shrimp with energy. They are important members of the vent community, contributing to the complex food webs that exist around hydrothermal vents.